Good evening, America. Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from sunny Florida, where I am just enjoying spring break in full swing with my family. Behind me is the beautiful Gulf of America. But don't worry, we never stop bringing you the truth. Our own Tom McCulla is on location just outside the White House, right in the heart of it all on this historic day. Tonight we witness history, Liberation Day. Day 72 of President Donald J. Trump's triumphant return to the White House. And if you're just tuning in, buckle up, because what's happening today changes everything. That's right. We've got millions watching right now across YouTube, Rumble, and X. And if you're not following us on all platforms, you're missing half the story. The algorithms are throttling us, so text this stream to just 3 people that you trust right now. I'm serious. Grab your phone and bypass the digital censors. They don't want this information getting out. Now, tonight's show is powered by you, our viewers, because you're the backbone of everything we do. Between segments, we'll be featuring your comments on screen for the world to see. Your super chats, your Rumble rants get priority, and we will read them between each segment. That's the beauty of the show. It's interactive, it's real, and it's unfiltered. And speaking of unfiltered, have you seen what's happening today? President Trump just declared Liberation Day across America as bureaucratic dead weight is getting the axe. $5 trillion in new investments pouring in. That's not millions, that's not billions, that's trillions with a T. Then there's the tariff shockwave collapsing global opposition. Mexico has already caved. Canada is begging for mercy. The new world economic order is emerging before our eyes. Trump is declaring economic independence. America reborn while global trade parasites face what can only be called tariff justice. It's about time someone stood up for the American worker. And wait until you hear what Elon Musk and Trump's shadow force at DOGE just uncovered. A massive fraud operation, illegal voting, an NGO money laundering ring that goes straight to the top. We've got the receipts, and we are going to show them tonight. And finally, the judicial coup exposed nationwide injunctions being used to sabotage the president. GOP leaders are in full revolt as we face what some are calling a real constitutional crisis, not the fake ones the left have been screeching about for years. Remember when they said that mean tweets were destroying democracy? Well, now they're silent when unelected judges are actually shredding the Constitution. But here's the thing, none of this coverage happens without your support. The mainstream media won't touch these stories with a 10-foot pole. So if you value real journalism, if you want the unvarnished truth, we do need your help. The donation link is in the description. Every dollar keeps this show on the air. And for those who want to take it to the next level, we have our YouTube channel memberships, exclusive perks just for you. Support the channel, get special acknowledgement in the chat room, plus exclusive access to our team, behind-the-scenes videos you will never see published publicly, as well as our 24/7 active chat Discord room. That's just for members. So if you want to show off your patriotism, also go to the merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, exclusive Next News swag. Lets everyone know where you get your real news. So stay with us, share the stream, stand with us in the fight for truth. We've got explosive revelations coming up, and you don't want to miss a second of it. This is the Raw Feed. It's day 72 of the Trump restoration. This is Liberation Day, and we are just getting started. Let's welcome you to the show. Who is here today? We've got Sure You in the house. We've got Tom B420. We've got Simon. We've got Stupid JL. We've got Jerome, Daniel C. We got Siggy, Duty to Rebel, Rusty Nuts, Jerome Stigler, Lisa, Diane, Rich from Wisconsin, and Joe and Bruce. We've got Crikey in the house. We've got, who else? Mike and Star, Duty to Rebel. People's News Today is here. Yes, Lisa, Gary is in Florida. That is the Gulf of America behind me. How cool is that, right? Ophicus is here. Our Boyd. We've got Diane. No, I am not in Galveston. We got Marshall in the house, and we've got Tony Leitner just dropping the first $5 in the super chat jar. And guys, have I got some cool news for you today? Holy cow. I'm going to show you in the first segment. I got a text message from a friend this morning, and it blew my mind. Oh, yes. If you've been watching any of my social media posts throughout the day, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm going to share this with you guys today, live. Real-time reaction. and it's absolutely historic. Let's get into our first topic tonight, Brian. Let's rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has done it again. On just day 72 of his second term, he's already secured nearly $5 trillion in investment and trade commitments from across the globe. It's not millions or billions, it's trillions with a T. This is the Trump economy roaring back to life before our eyes. Small business owners are already feeling the impact, with one stating plainly, during the Trump administration, I was able to grow my business and open more locations. That hasn't been the case in the Biden-Harris administration. It's not complex economics. It's Trump keeping his promises and delivering results while cutting the bureaucratic dead weight that's been strangling American prosperity. And wait till you see what the White House published just a few hours ago. It blew everyone's mind here at Next News, and we are so excited to share this with you. But as we step into 2025, one thing is clear: de-dollarization is not stopping, it's accelerating. China, other BRICS nations are scared of President Trump, and it's making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. Their secret weapon is gold. In fact, China resumed buying gold. And you know what's even more telling? They underreport their buys. They recognize its global value and ability to withstand economic shocks. Gold's a global asset with innate value. It's tangible, reliable, and immune to economic manipulation. China wants to be prepared. They just don't want you to know it. But this isn't just about nations, it's about you. Noble Gold Investments, they can help you secure your financial future with gold. Visit nextnewsgold.com to learn more. Call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Tell them that Gary Franchi and Next News sent you, and ask them about those 10 free silver 1-ounce coins. Okay, this is absolutely amazing. Wait till you see what happened today. Holy cow. Yeah. Check this out. You are going to, it's going to blow your mind. We got Tom on the scene right there in the middle of the chaos of Liberation Day. A lot of spin is happening because the foreign press is all over the White House today. Tom has never seen anything quite like it. But I have never seen anything quite like this. Okay? This is absolutely amazing. I'm going to show it to you. The White House just published this earlier today. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to the last, say, 20 seconds of this video. Listen to this.
In the U.S.,
President Trump pushing ahead with his America First agenda.
Breaking news, Apple announced it's going to work with Foxconn to build a server factory in Texas by 2026.
the company says it is now planning to invest $500 billion in the U.S. economy.
The CEO of SoftBank pledging to invest $100 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
This is President Trump delivering on the promise he made to the American people on the campaign trail.
The idea is come to America, build greatness in America, build for the American customers.
Project Stargate. It's a joint venture between SoftBank, Oracle, and OpenAI, and they're going to create a data center that will eventually be expanded to other states.
Shows people are listening to Mr. Trump's pitch to bring new industry to America.
This is the latest pledge from a foreign business leader promising to spend big in the U.S. as a result of Trump's election victory.
Founder of the property development company DeMac Properties is pledging the money.
President Trump announcing $100 billion investment from Taiwan Semiconductor, bringing the company's total American investments to $165 billion.
The most powerful AI chips in the world will be made right here in America.
Things happen so quickly in the Trump world, right? It's 100 days. Right. It feels like it's 100 months. This is leadership. This is taking control of the problem for military, for everything, for industrial, for our economy. Even if it causes short-term pain, the reality is it is the right decision.
NVIDIA says it will invest hundreds of billions of dollars over the next 4 years, part of the manufacturing renaissance under President Donald J. Trump.
Furniture maker Prepack are shifting their operations from Canada to North Carolina.
Johnson & Johnson says it will invest more than $55 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
Hyundai announced a $20 billion investment.
With your leadership, Mr. President, Hyundai Motor Group is proud to be a stronger partner in America's industrial future.
This is the automobile industry, and now those plants largely have stopped and they're moving them to our country. Honda
is building one of the biggest plants.
The trade story is certainly picking up speed here and pushing more countries to make these bigger investments.
It's another example of the Trump effect.
GE Aerospace announcing a nearly $1 billion investment into American manufacturing.
Eli Lilly announcing plans to expand its manufacturing here in the United States.
$27 billion additional spend, bringing our total to more than $50 billion.
The money's rolling in, and this is in the past 60 some odd days, Charles.
These are deep-pocketed folks who want to have a relationship, and it's just smart moves.
We are CMA CGM, one of the leaders in shipping and logistics around the world. Today, we are investing $20 billion.
Foreign leaders from around the world, investors from Silicon Valley to Wall Street to Main Street have confidence again in our economy and our markets and in President Trump.
The Trump effect this morning, a string of massive wins for American manufacturing. The numbers speak for themselves. Wisconsin-based Clarios is putting up $6 billion to expand its American operation. And what's driving these decisions? Well, President Trump's aggressive Made in America policies and his commitment to bringing industry back to American soil. This is exactly what Trump promised. America first is back.
President Trump pushing
America first is back. Holy cow, did you guys catch that? Did you catch that? Okay, yeah, I'm a little excited, as you can tell, before we get to Tom's reports on the ground. Okay, so from the White House gates to the national stage, today's Liberation Day video from the White House features a clip that I captured on March 3rd just outside the West Wing. The Donald Trump effect, American industry rising, borders secured. This isn't just a message, it's a movement. Roll the tape. The White House actually used my voice to close out the most epic video of the administration thus far on Liberation Day. The Trump effect this morning, a string of massive wins for American manufacturing. The numbers speak for themselves. Wisconsin-based Clarios is putting up $6 billion to expand its American operation. And what's driving these decisions? Well, President Trump's aggressive Made in America policies and his commitment to bringing industry back to American soil. This is exactly what Trump promised. America first is back. The Trump effect. I gotta tell you, I watched this video like 50 times today. And, you know, the person who texted this video to me today and brought this to my attention was one of the instrumental cogs in the wheel to bring me to where I am now. When I severed ties with the broadcast company that I was working with when Next News Network was being broadcast in South Florida to 12 million people a night, he allowed me to set up in his office space and continue my operation without skipping a beat. It was absolutely instrumental in keeping Next News alive during that critical transition period. He texted me today. He's like, "You need to listen to this. You're at the end of it." And I watched it. I nearly freaked out. And I'm just completely honored that the White House chose me to close that video on such a historic day. So let's take a little trip back here because we are talking about Liberation Day. It's a big topic tonight. This is what Tom McCulla just reported from the White House earlier today, just ahead of the Rose Garden. And I've been talking with Tom all day. And the stuff that he has been seeing is unlike anything that we have ever witnessed at the White House. Of course, we've only been reporting there for, several months now. But on a day like this, when Donald Trump presents a historic global move, massive global chess moves, the entire foreign press was out in force getting ready. So check this out. Here's Tom.
It's like Canada, Hey guys, this is Tom McCulla reporting directly from the White House with the Next News Network. And guys, we're bringing you the real story today. It's straight from the source because we're one of the only non-fake news outlets still standing. All these fake news guys. Here in the circus of press chaos in April 2nd, 2025. This place is a madhouse. Reporters are tripping over each other. Cameras are everywhere. Everyone's waiting for their big moment for the day. So we're going to go ahead and get right to it. So today is the day that President Donald J. Trump has been hyping for weeks. It's Liberation Day. And that's right, the tariffs are coming and they hit at midnight. And they're about to kick in fast. So the White House says that the new trade taxes will hit the ground running, effective immediately after Trump lays it out. This isn't some wishy-washy promise. It's a sledgehammer to level the playing field for American workers and business. So for too long, we've let other countries rip us off, shipping their cheap goods here while slapping huge tariffs on ours, and that's just not going to happen anymore. So now here's the kicker. Israel's already jumping ahead. They've dropped all the tariffs on U.S. goods, saying that, hey, we're in, which was a smart move on their part. They see the writing on the wall, and Trump's not messing around. Other nations, they're sweating. Folks like Canada, Mexico, the European Union, they're bracing for impact, and some are even threatening to hit back, and it's good luck with that. They're called reciprocal tariffs. Security here at the White House, it's tighter than a drum. You can feel the tension. There's extra guards, extra metal detectors, the works. With Liberation Day kicking off, they're not taking any chances. This place is buzzing, and it's not just about the press. Everyone knows something huge is dropping and happening today here at the White House. As you can see, everything's crazy. What you guys don't see is a visible security that's more so than normal. In the main event, Trump's hosting a Rose Garden shindig at 4 p.m. called Make America Wealthy Again. It's not just a catchy name. It's the heart of the whole deal. He's rolling out these reciprocal tariffs, matching what other countries are charging us, dollar for dollar. The man's got his whole cabinet out here with him, showing this isn't some side project. It's the real deal. Studies from his first term that his tariffs work, as of 2024 report says they boosted our economy and brought straight manufacturing home. Steel production up, jobs thousands added, inflation barely a blip. Even Janet Yellen, Biden's old Treasury gal, admitted last year that things don't jack up prices like the media whines about. Speaking of the media, they were wrong back then and they're wrong now. PBS, NPR, Politico, they're all screaming in 2018 that Trump's tariff would tank everything. And guess what? Steel imports dropped by a third. Companies like Nucor and U.S. Steel poured billions into new mills, and Minnesota iron ore folks called it a boon. The Economic Policy Institute says steel output, jobs, and investments all soared. No inflation mess in sight in 2024. So also in 2024, another analysis predicted a 10% global tariff could grow our economy by $728 billion and create another 3 million jobs. So here we are. Liberation Day, Trump's betting big, and if his first term's any clue, America's about to win again. Again, this is Thomas McCulla signing off from the White House. Stay tuned. The Rose Garden's about to light up.
Oh, man. Tom on fire today. Margot Martin posting this picture. A couple of Gators in the Oval Office. Tim Tebow, Demi Tebow, and Secretary Rubio. Yes, the White House was all like the place to be today. Here we have, this was actually posted just 41 minutes ago. Tom talking about Trump unleashing economic justice from the White House. This is just a few minutes ago.
Hey guys, this is Tom McCulla, White House correspondent with the Next News Network. And guys, welcome to The Real Story. It's straight from the front lines of Washington. And we're one of the only non-fake news outlets here, and we're cutting straight through the noise to bring you what's actually happening. And Trump's literally in the Oval Office, like 4 doors behind me. It's crazy. So today was a huge day, April 2nd, 2025. President Donald Trump just turned it into a game changer. We're going to go ahead and dive in. He had quite the celebration today. So first up, the Rose Garden was buzzing today with the Make America Wealthy Again celebration. Trump took the stage at 4 p.m., and let me tell you, he didn't hold back. It was a Trump celebration. It was more like a rally. He called it Liberation Day, a bold reset for America's economy. The crowd, it was full of auto workers, steel workers, and even President J.D. Vance was fired up. Trump did hold up some charts showing new tariffs he's slapping on countries that he's been ripping us off for years. He put a 10% baseline tax on all imports, plus bigger hits up to 49% on nations like China and Myanmar. Why? Because they charge us way more, like China's 67%. While we've been playing nice, Trump's line, they charge us, we charge them. Simple, fair, square, and it's American. Now, we're going to talk tariffs for a bit. These aren't just numbers. They're Trump keeping his promise to bring jobs back. Starting at midnight tonight, foreign goods get hit hard. A 25% tariff on cars from Canada. That's real. Ontario's car makers are sweating, but Trump says it's about protecting our workers. He's already got a 34% tariff on China on top of earlier ones and 20% on the European Union. And their goal? It's to force companies to build here, not overseas. Critics are whining about prices going up, but Trump's team says tax cuts and deregulation will balance it out. And then get this, he signed an order closing a loophole, letting cheap Chinese packages flood in duty-free. It's pretty smart. That starts on May 2nd, and
no more Temu.
Trump's team is so brilliant. They know all these little crazy stuff to get through. So we're going to jump over to the border. Trump tied these tariffs to security, and he's not wrong. He's been hammering Canada and Mexico since January, 25% tariffs there. He did pause it for a bit, but now he's hinting they could snap back if fentanyl keeps crossing. He says our borders are a sieve and drugs and illegals are pouring in. And he's done messing around, guys. He's been on this for years and he's not playing around. So last year, 21,000 pounds of fentanyl were seized by the Border Patrol, and that's enough to kill billions of people. So Trump's saying fix it or pay up. Mexico's President Sheinbaum thanked him for a respectful call today, promising to work together. And Canada's Prime Minister Carney, he's calling an election over to this mess. The border's a bargaining chip now, and Trump is holding all the cards. He's got the Trump cards. Other big stuff from today. Trump declared a national emergency over trade deficits. He's using a 1977 law to justify it. He says our manufacturers have been gutted, and that's a security risk. And he's not just talking, he's acting. He put a 44% tariff on Myanmar. That's part of it. He's got plans for more. Pharma, lumber, chips, all of it are coming soon. The stock market dipped a little bit today, sure. NASDAQ futures are down 2.5%, but Trump's betting long-term gains beat short-term pain. His fans like Michigan union workers are cheering. One told PBS, we can't thank him enough. And so here's the kicker. Trump's not budging. The EU is threatening to hit back. Canada's mad. Democrats are screaming about a trade war. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called it one of Trump's worst moves. But Trump, he's plowing ahead. Speaker Mike Johnson got his back, saying it'll be rocky but worth it. Trump told world leaders today, drop your tariffs or deal with mine. And that's strength. That's Trump's strength. And that's America first. So what does all of it mean? April 2nd, 2025 is Trump doubling down on his agenda, wealth, jobs, security. He's rewriting the rules and the world's scrambling to keep up. The fake news will spin it as chaos, but here at the next news, we see it for what it is, a president fighting for you. And that's the story from the White House today, guys. My end-of-day close, and that's literally the Oval Office 2 doors back. It's incredible. And again, my name's Tom McCulla. I'm White House correspondent, Next News Network, and check out our X. We got some pretty cool behind-the-scenes stuff today. God bless.
Yeah, Tom was absolutely on fire today, as was the entire Trump administration. Here we have this from Rapid Response. Here's the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Some great folks who want to do good work. Listen.
You don't even know where the people... I think good. We've got some great folks who want to do good work. They want to be freed up to do that work. I am so proud of so many of our VA employees who are actually in the front lines doing it every day. What has been surprising to me is the lack of really any kind of sense of control over an organization that is bigger than the active duty Army. When I first got there, I had no control. I had no way to know where all of our employees were. I've heard 450, 470, 480, 480,000 people, but yet I had no human resource system that could show me all of my employees. How can you manage a business or manage a company or manage a bureaucracy if you don't even know where the people are? We've seen this over and over again. Health records management system where our doctors did not have a up-to-date modern system, which, by the way, I just got back from Michigan. The previous administration had said they were going to do 4. We've already upped it up. We're going to do 13 next year, and we're going to roll out even more, making sure that our doctors and our patients have the best standard of care. That's how you help veterans.
Wow. How shameful. They didn't even have an HR system in place at the VA. Here's a small business owner who's reacting to what happened today.
I was able, and as a businessman, you look at past performance. Right. So I saw what the economy was doing during the Trump administration. I was able to grow my business. I was able to open more locations. And, that hasn't been the case in the Biden-Harris administration. I've been, stagnant. I've been dealing with fighting these rising costs, having to battle, for employee pay and trying to raise the prices, so I can keep up. Well, and as a businessman, you look at past...
This is what it means to put America first. Here is Speaker Mike Johnson. People clearly trust President Trump's instincts on the economy. It's not blind faith because they know his first term delivered us the greatest economy in American history. Listen to this.
You have to trust the president's instincts on the economy, okay? And why? This isn't blind faith. Remember what he accomplished in the first administration. Before COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world, not the U.S., the whole world. Every demographic was doing better because we cut taxes, we cut regulations, and we made a better economic environment for everybody to succeed. And he is going about that same plan to bring that about, and tariffs is a component of that. And we'll see how it all develops. I mean, the reciprocal tariff policy is one that makes a lot of common sense. I mean, you look at the trade disparity between many nations, and much of this began after World War II, and the rationale apparently was, well, we need to rebuild Europe, and America emerges as the great superpower, so we should have this imbalance. It's fair. It's, this is what we need. Well, that carried on for generations, and we're well beyond World War II now, and this is a different world. It's a much more integrated, complex economy, and the president's absolutely right when he says that we have to think about America's interest first, because if we don't, we're not going to maintain our status as the great superpower. And when he says, let's have free trade and...
Okay, pause. There's a reason. Did you hear what I just said? We won't be able to maintain our status as the world superpower. Like, this has all been by design. Everything that we have seen in the last several decades, I mean, it's all been to slowly erode the United States' place on the world stage. It's kind of like DEI, like on a global scale, if you think about it, right? The whole equity thing, like, we got to make sure everyone's kind of equal. Everyone kind of comes up to the same end point, right? But we're only going to give these people a leg up first, right? So we got to suppress these people. And it's like a perfect depiction of the United States on the world stage. It's like global DEI. And Trump is like resetting the whole thing. Do you follow what I'm saying here? I'm trying to paint a picture. Listen.
Fair trade, I think the reciprocal tariff policy makes sense. If somebody has 100+% tariff on imports of U.S. goods, and we have virtually nothing, why don't we settle that balance? If we raise and match their tariff policy, I think ultimately what happens is you get back down to a free trade agreement, that these countries that are engaged in this disparity, this raw deal for Americans for so long, it'll get their attention, and they'll, I think, reduce their tariffs on us. Then you get back to a free and fair trade. You have to...
Yes. The whole system will be purely equalized under this new trade system. Yep. And President Trump knows it. Here we have more. This is from Lee Zeldin. Now, we covered this just the other day about this museum that Joe Biden set up. Here's Lee Zeldin more talking about it.
If you were to visit the museum located here at EPA headquarters in D.C., you would learn a lot about the road to environmental justice and climate change. This museum claims EPA pursues its mission by advancing environmental justice, equity, and civil rights compliance. A timeline of key events conveniently omits any mention of President Trump's first administration. I'm currently standing inside of this museum, which was built and curated by the Biden administration with $4 million in taxpayer dollars. As if this wasn't enough of a price tag to fill a room the size of an apartment. This shrine to environmental justice and climate change cost the American taxpayer $600,000 to operate annually. This agency has been spending $123,000 on cleaning, $207,000 for security, $54,000 on maintenance, and an additional $54,000 on storage. From May 2024 through last month, only 1,909 members of the public visited the museum. Even though it is free admission, this museum costs you, the taxpayer, $315 per external visitor. I have pledged to be an exceptional steward of taxpayer dollars. So this shrine to EJ and climate change will now be shut down for good. I will do my part to help the American people learn more about the amazing work of our agency to provide cleaner, healthier, and safer land, air, and water. We will do so without paying over $500,000 in tax dollars on a museum that is barely visited and designed to tell an ideologically slanted, partial story of the EPA. Under President Trump, we are ending the practice of burning tax dollars on pet projects that do nothing to help this agency achieve our mission of protecting human health and the environment.
Oh, man, what a mess. But listen, guys, Speaker Johnson said it perfectly. The American people clearly trust President Trump's instincts on the economy. It's not blind faith, because they know his first term delivered us the greatest economy in American history. Meanwhile, Trump is exposing the incompetence of the previous administration. The VA secretary revealed he can't even track employees in an organization larger than our active duty army. And remember that $4 million EPA vanity museum that Biden built? Less than 2,000 visitors in 9 months, costing taxpayers $600,000 annually. Trump shut it down immediately. This is what real leadership looks like. Identifying waste, eliminating it, and redirecting resources to actually help Americans. So here's my question. Will Trump's economic strategy go down as the greatest presidential accomplishment of the 21st century? Or is this just the beginning? Drop your thoughts in the comments and show your support with our exclusive Next News gear. It's linked in the merch shop down below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right, folks, let's keep going right along. Let's see, Carter Benton just dropped some super chat cash. Let's take a look here. How shocking. $5 trillion is invested in the U.S. What will the Democrats do? Give up. And I need to do a shout out real quick here to Ellen and Mark. What's up, Ellen and Mark? Gary Franchi right here in the Next News remote studio on the Gulf of America, broadcasting the truth just for the two of you. That's right. You guys, this show is just for you. And, of course, the other million people watching. All right, let's keep going. We got Marine Sooner dropping a hamburger for 99 cents. Yeah, maybe the price of meat's going to go down, too. Darlene K just dropped a membership. What's up? And looks like people are on the beach right now with their four-wheelers.
Bring your lights down.
Bring them down even more?
Just a little bit.
Okay,
You're shining.
Brian says, I'm shining. Okay, how about that? A little bit more. I don't know how much lower I can go. How low can you go? Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, I'll fix it with the other thing.
Okay, hang on, Brian. I'm a little shady on this side here. You need to bring that up. Okay. Okay, okay, and then Clutch dropped a pair character, lifting some weights, saying, keep it up. Okay, so we are broadcasting live from the Gulf of America right now on the Liberation Day. But let's go back in time and take a closer look at what happened throughout the day, stuff that you may have missed, because the mainstream media is not giving you the truth. But here we are, wherever we are, whether it's in Washington, D.C., or on the coast of the Gulf of America, outside the White House, behind enemy lines in Chicago, we're giving you the truth. Now, let's go. Oh, $10, Tom B420. What's up, Tom B420? Yeah, here we go. Tom B420, thank you.
I'm trying to fix some.
Yeah, I'm trying to also do a super chat. Thank you. See, when Brian jumps into my computer, we get in a fight. We get in a digital fight. Bring it, Brian.
I'm trying to find the window.
Yeah, it's behind the thing. Maybe. No, we're not using that camera. Uh-huh. We just lost 500 viewers because you wanted to check the lights. Cool. All right. Are we ready to go? Can I start my show? America, the global economic chess match just changed forever. President Trump's tariff doctrine has sent shockwaves across the planet, and foreign governments are folding like cheap suits. Mexico's president surrendered. No retaliatory tariffs. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, quote, we will be willing to take these tariffs off tomorrow. Even Mr. Wonderful himself, Kevin O'Leary, demolished Canada's empty threats about cutting ties with the U.S., calling it sheer stupidity, since 75% of their economy depends on us. What we're witnessing isn't just policy, it is the complete reordering of global economic power. Yes, I call it the Trump world order. Meanwhile, private companies added 155,000 jobs in March, blowing past expectations. So much for the fear-mongering about tariff-killing jobs. So, what are we going to do? See, President Trump's tariffs restore the trade balance. But don't forget about restoring your body's balance, too. That's why this multi-collagen formula is changing lives, just like Trump's policies are changing our economy. Recent studies show it dramatically reduces wrinkles and improves skin elasticity, similar to how tariffs improve our trade elasticity. With 5 different collagen types, it addresses multiple needs simultaneously, just like Trump's comprehensive economic approach. It's American-made, with the highest quality standards, no artificial ingredients, and no harmful additives, exactly the accountability we need. So get back your youthful glow while America gets back its economic glow. Visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off today. Okay, so much is happening on the world stage. Of course, I am broadcasting live. The Gulf of America right behind me. You can hear the waves crashing on the beach. It's a beautiful thing to witness. But there were also some crashing going on at the White House today. And Tom McCulla was there, our White House correspondent, on the scene to bring you some behind-the-scenes looks at what was happening. Check this out.
Hey guys, reporting here today with Next News, and it's a madhouse. It's Liberation Day. The briefing room is packed full of people. I'm going to kind of just show you what a little bit behind the scenes stuff is. You see here, normally there's only like a couple cameras here and there, so they set this up in case Trump comes out to do a briefing. This is where they would be doing gaggles. So like if anybody of note comes over, they talk to the Pebble Beach stuff. We got Newsmax over there, CNN, ABC, NBC, Fox. Hey, how you doing, sir? And yeah, so it's going to be a busy day today. It's Liberation Day. Just kind of want to show you most of the day. It's just trying to figure out what's happening, who's coming out here, and then making sure you know the right questions to ask when you need to ask them. Yeah. Little behind-the-scene tour for you guys.
Yeah, stuff you don't normally see, but Liberation Day is here. Tom McCulla reporting from the White House Madhouse. Check this out.
It's fake news, guys. Hey guys, this is Tom McCulla reporting directly from the White House with the Next News Network. And guys, we're bringing you the real story today. It's straight from the source because we're one of the only non-fake news outlets still standing. All these fake news guys. Here in the circus of press chaos in April 2nd, 2025. This place is a madhouse. Reporters are tripping over each other. Cameras are everywhere. Everyone's waiting for their big moment for the day. So we're going to go ahead and get right to it. So today is the day that President Donald J. Trump has been hyping for weeks. It's Liberation Day. And that's right. The tariffs are coming and they hit at midnight. And they're about to kick in fast. So the White House says that the new trade taxes will hit the ground running, effective immediately after Trump lays it out. This isn't some wishy-washy promise. It's a sledgehammer to level the playing field for American workers and business. So for too long, we've let other countries rip us off, shipping their cheap goods here while slapping huge tariffs on ours, and that's just not going to happen anymore. So now here's the kicker. Israel's already jumping ahead. They've dropped all the tariffs on U.S. goods, saying that, hey, we're in, which was a smart move on their part. They see the writing on the wall, and Trump's not messing around. Other nations, they're sweating. Folks like Canada, Mexico, the European Union, they're bracing for impact, and some are even threatening to hit back, and it's good luck with that. They're called reciprocal tariffs. Security here at the White House, it's tighter than a drum. You can feel the tension. There's extra guards, extra metal detectors, the works. With Liberation Day kicking off, they're not taking any chances. This place is buzzing, and it's not just about the press. Everyone knows something huge is dropping and happening today here at the White House. As you can see, everything's crazy. What you guys don't see is a visible security that's more so than normal. In the main event, Trump's hosting a Rose Garden shindig at 4 p.m. called Make America Wealthy Again. It's not just a catchy name. It's the heart of the whole deal. He's rolling out these reciprocal tariffs, matching what other countries are charging us, dollar for dollar. The man's got his whole cabinet out here with him, showing this isn't some side project. It's the real deal. Studies from his first term, that his tariffs work, as of 2024 report says they boosted our economy and brought straight manufacturing home. Steel production up, jobs thousands added, inflation barely a blip. Even Janet Yellen, Biden's old Treasury gal, admitted last year that things don't jack up prices like the media whines about. Speaking of the media, they were wrong back then and they're wrong now. PBS, NPR, Politico, they're all screaming in 2018 that Trump's tariff would tank everything. And guess what? Steel imports dropped by a third. Companies like Nucor and U.S. Steel poured billions into new mills, and Minnesota iron ore folks called it a boom. The Economic Policy Institute says steel output, jobs, and investments all soared. No inflation mess in sight in 2024. So also in 2024, another analysis predicted a 10% global tariff could grow our economy by $728 billion and create another 3 million jobs. So here we are. Liberation Day, Trump's betting big, and if his first term's any clue, America's about to win again. Again, this is Thomas McCulla signing off from the White House. Stay tuned. The Rose Garden's about to light up.
Yeah, baby. That is Tom McCulla on the scene. Here we have more. Representative Lisa McClain. We want American jobs. We want to bring manufacturing here. Let's go.
Time Donald Trump is, we want American jobs. We want to bring manufacturing here. Let's not forget about how much investment in the short period of time Donald Trump has been president that he has already got commitment to bringing back to the U.S. of A. And that is almost $5 trillion in investments. Look at Apple coming into my home state of Michigan. That's positive news that needs to be celebrated. We want American.
Oh, yeah, and it's happening. Here's Mark Wayne Mullen talking about American products win every time. Check this out.
Country that wants to do business with us, so if we put American-made products against other countries, we will win every single time. The country that wants to do business with us, so they need us more than we need them because they want access to the world's strongest and greatest economy, and that's the United States. But we can't allow manufacturing to leave the United States, go to that country, build a product, and then bring it back to the United States to sell it. That's where the unfair trade deals have been taking place that we have had put in place since after World War II. We have allowed people to take advantage of us, and President Trump is the first president in our lifetime to actually say, wait, it's time to right the wrong. So will there be some volatility for the first few months? Maybe. But long-term gain, it's going to be great for America. Yeah,
it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a little bit. It's kind of like you got to pull the Band-Aid off, though. You know, it's going to be sharp. It might hurt. But at the end of the day, it's going to be clean. There's going to be no infection. And you're going to get some air into the wound. And it's going to heal. That's what it's all about, friends. America is finally going to heal. Here is the Mexican president just in. Mexican President Sheinbaum concedes to President Trump, says she will not impose tit-for-tat tariffs on the United States. Ha ha. Yeah. Kneel before Zod, woman. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he's willing to drop all of Canada's tariffs. Yeah, see, these guys thought they were going to go ahead and take one. They thought they were going to pull one over on the old United States. Well, guess what? Jack Barton always says, if you paid your dues, check this out.
Products. Let's sit down and discuss this because it's just going to hurt American jobs. I can't stress it enough. And, you know, again, he believes he's supporting Americans. He said he was going to create jobs, create wealth, reduce inflation. It's worked the total opposite. Inflation.
But do you think it's fair that you have tariffs on a whole number of products?
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off. We are not the problem, Andrew. Do you know the problem is? China's the problem. And he's taking a blind eye to China as they continue to build their critical mineral mass. We have all the critical minerals that our great neighbors need. We have the energy that our great neighbors need.
Really, dude? We're turning a blind eye to China? I don't think so. Okay, if there's anyone that turned a blind eye to China, it was Joe Biden and Hunter when they were cutting their deals. Remember all the Chinese weather balloon? The Chinese spies all over our country? Remember Fang Fang?
I just want to go back for a moment. If, in fact, you're prepared to take your tariffs off, why wouldn't you have that negotiation and that conversation now before any tariffs get put in place?
Well, we've had this conversation for over the last month. We don't want tariffs. We have another $65 billion worth of tariffs to launch today. That's the last thing we want to do, because it's just, again, it's going to hurt both countries. It's going to hurt American workers. That's the last thing I want.
Andrew meant take the other ones off, not the ones you're launching today. The ones that you already got.
You're saying you take all your tariffs off. I'm saying
we will take them off. That's right.
Then why is that not? I guess my question is, why has all of that not already happened? And does President Trump know that you'd be prepared to do that?
He knows, and Secretary Lutnick knows that we're willing to take these tariffs off like in the next minute if he said he's taking their tariffs off. So let's look at the auto sector.
Let's just look at you, because you know you don't stand a freaking chance against the American economy. Okay? What have you got? Hockey and beer up there? Okay, let's keep going. We have more. Here is Vice President Vance shutting down the globalist narrative on tariffs. Boom.
Passed on to the... You have to qualify the understanding based on what we just saw with those 20 plus...
Oh, man, it still blows my mind every time I see Chris Cuomo. I mean, this is the guy that was holding up a Q-tip during COVID with his brother. Fired in shame from CNN. Every time I see him, it just blows my mind. I mean, this guy's trying so hard to move to the middle. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I'll start over.
You have to qualify the understanding based on what we just saw with those 20-plus Nobel winning economists who said, if you do tariffs the wrong way, you wind up spiking prices here that get passed on to the consumer. Yeah. And that was also additive to inflation. And they criticize the Trump administration and its future plan for being at risk of doing exactly that.
Sure. So I know that's a criticism that's been out there. Here's why I don't buy it. So first of all, these are the same experts that said shipping our entire manufacturing industry to China, to East Asia, to Mexico would lead to greater American prosperity. They were wrong. It was a mistake to do that. We followed their advice, and now, frankly, a lot of Americans can't afford a good life, can't earn a middle-class wage because we listened to some of those very same people. But the more immediate reason why I don't buy that argument, Chris, is, look, Donald Trump was already president, right? These aren't just plans and proposals. He was already president, and when he was president, you had he did use tariffs, right? And you had the fastest rising take-home pay in 40 years in this country. You had inflation at 1.5%. So, look, you don't have to agree with everything I say or everything that Donald Trump says, but when you actually look at the policy accomplishments, we had low inflation and rising take-home pay, and I think tariffs were a big part of that.
You have to qualify.
And that is a fact, Fredo. Let's keep going. We've got more. DeAngelis, we have been taken advantage of administration after administration. Boom.
We've been taken advantage of administration after administration, and he is finally saying enough is enough. These countries have to be put in their place. So if you're taxing us, we're going to tax you back. It may even be
put them in their place. Kneel before the American power. It's true. Our economy is massive. You guys, the whole world cannot compete against our economy. All right? I mean, how much do we import from all over the world? Yeah, so you guys all better play ball, drop your tariffs, open up your markets, let American companies ship their stuff into your countries, and let's equalize the playing field.
more generous than that from what we're understanding. And so that level playing field comes back to the United States. And one more thing that I think is really, really important about this, for national security, getting our standing back, for people realizing that we are not a doormat anymore as a nation, and that enough is enough. Yeah, we've been
enough is enough. We are no longer going to be a doormat for the world. Making America great again. Private companies added 155,000 jobs in March, more than expected. That's CNBC reporting that. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. Mark Carney saying Canada is cutting off all ties with the U.S. is sheer stupidity. 75% of the output of Canadian market is over 100 years have been sold to the U.S. Let's listen to this.
has been sold to the... And just hours ago, interim Prime Minister Carney said the same thing. We are cutting off all ties to the United States. There's no cooperation anymore. That, of course, is sheer stupidity. 75% of the output of the Canadian market for over 100 years has been sold to the U.S., and 17 states in the U.S. call Canada their #1 trading partner. There is no way that's going to happen. But if you want to be tough and you want to sound important and you're trying to get elected and you're the only person that can save every Canadian from the evil Trump, that's exactly what you say. Navarro's saying the same thing. These tariffs are in perpetuity. We will fix this. We will push back the world. All of this rhetoric and noise, it's not the signal. It's all noise. And in the end, I think everybody's better off if we get to reciprocal tariffs of 0. So the countries you care about, that you want to do business with, you end up with 0 tariffs and you support a free trade mandate. It's very hard to see that outcome in the cloud we're in right now and all the rhetoric and jawboning. But if you're an investor like I am, you think long term. And so the concerns that Goldman have about housing prices and inflation on goods and services, it takes a long time for that to happen. Not 2 weeks, not 2 months. So I am in the more of the, let's get calmed down here. Let's let the rhetoric be fired at each other. Every country, Britain's doing the same thing right now.
Well, sure.
You should hear the rhetoric in London today.
Kevin, but
it's
let me
the
ask
same
you this,
stuff,
because
but
I
it
hear
too will pass. And just hours ago, interim Prime Minister
Kevin O'Leary getting the record straight right there. Here is more. We have reshaping the world. Why Trump's tariff announcement is veiled in secrecy.
I'd look at that. President Donald Trump could reshape the world economy when he unveils his new tariff plan today. Here's an inside look at that upcoming announcement at the White House. Now, I'm told that the president spent much of Tuesday huddled with his close trade advisors, tariff policy advisors, really up until the 11th hour, finalizing, or as the White House said.
Now, I want to preface what you're seeing here. This is CNN. Okay, so just, you got to understand the language that they're using.
Perfecting this announcement, but so much of the key details are still unclear, in part because there was really these last minute pitches that were coming in, but also because this is by design. They want it to be veiled in secrecy. Now, this announcement is going to be made in the Rose Garden. It's his first event there. With it comes the pomp and circumstance we know the president likes for these types of events. But one of the things that's been very notable about that is it was initially scheduled for 3 p.m. and then was pushed back to 4 p.m. I say it's notable because 4 p.m. is after the markets close. Now, many people are worried about what this could mean for consumers. How will it affect them? Our trading
Look at
partners,
the picture.
Of course.
Look at the picture they chose to use. This, like, trader, like, oh, his face is in anguish. What's going to happen with this? I mean, you heard Mr. Wonderful in the last clip saying, yeah, it's going to be a little bumpy. The rhetoric's going to be all over the map. They're going to try and discourage you. But as investors, we got to think long term. But CNN's putting out this fake news showing this investor is freaking out. Man, just hold it. Just hold the stock. All right? Just hold it. Just hold it. All right? Come on.
Figuring out what exactly this could mean for them as well. Hopefully we'll have more details after that announcement.
Yeah.
President Donald Trump.
CNN is fake news. Let's just keep going. Here we have more. Stephen Moore talking about the tariffs earlier today on Newsmax. What did he say? Our tariffs, let me just pull up this. Our tariffs are about 3%, 4%, and 5%, and many other countries above 20%. That's something we can't live with. At the end of the day, this could be a liberation from those high tariffs. It simply isn't a fair trading system right now. Representative Riley Moore. Foreign countries have been ripping American manufacturers off for far too long, all while enjoying decades of free access to American markets. Free access. My God.
Their jobs. One way to think about this, and we've heard people say, oh, you know, this is going to spark a trade war. Well, the American workers have been living in a trade war for over 40 years, and they've seen their jobs be decimated. Like in my state of West Virginia, where just last year, because the Biden administration would not implement tariffs on tin plate steel that was being dumped into the market, by China and Canada and some other countries, we lost 1,000 jobs in my district, gone. And we had to idle that steel plant. That's not putting the American worker first. It's not putting America first. So President Trump is the first person in my lifetime who is really trying to reset this table and put us in a good position to be able to succeed here as a country. We have to do everything we can to grow and expand the middle class and provide that opportunity that had been promised to so many generations before us.
Yeah, finally someone's doing something about it. Here is the Small Business Administration. Kelly Loeffler, an exciting day, she says.
For America. Well, Maria, this is an exciting day, Liberation Day. This is the single greatest salvation for not just small businesses, but for America. This country was traveling down an unsustainable path, and President Trump has been the only president that has had backbone to stand up to our allies and adversaries alike and say, we have to level the playing field. This is unfair. You're no longer going to take advantage of us. And man, I would not bet against America right now, because what's happening is you see investment coming in. You see $4 trillion in investment already in President Trump's first 2 months. You see trading partners coming to the table wanting to renegotiate. This is what it's about. It's about restoring fairness and opportunity to this nation, from small businesses to workers to our investments. And that's what this is about. And President Trump understands that.
Oh, man, it's so cool. It is so freaking cool. I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, I'm getting excited over this. I really am. I don't know if the rest of the world, or even, the rest of America, actually truly can grasp just how important today really is. Okay? I mean, he's leveling the playing field. He's opening up global markets to American manufacturing. This means more jobs, more money, more employment. I mean, it's going to change the game. Winning on a scale we've never seen before. Do you understand this? Do you understand this?
Imported goods. A new CBS News poll shows a majority of Americans support imposing tariffs on imported goods, and more have an optimistic view of the economy since the election.
Oh man, here's more. Here is Representative Byron Donalds.
Let's be very clear.
And
an assumption.
I want to make it clear he's on CNN. All right.
You're making an assumption. You are making an assumption, an economic assumption right now. Let's be very clear. The real pain economically has been the massive inflation coming from bloated overspending here in Washington, D.C. That is the real pain that the American people have felt the last 4 years. Well, what President Trump is trying to do now is bring industries back to the United States. So it's not so much pain. You might have some temporary adjustments in our economy, but that is for the growth of the American economy long term, stability and jobs over the long term for the American people and American workers. And that is actually a good way to take our economy, as opposed to following the same terrible policies of the previous administration and the Democrats writ large of just subsidizing industries and raising the debt of the United States. That is not the way that you actually build an economy. There's an old saying in finance: you can make markets jump, but you can't make them fly. And when you follow the old way, the Biden-Obama way of just subsidizing industries, yeah, you make them jump. You can make people feel good in the interim, but it's not sustainable over the long term. Donald Trump is looking at the long-term financial outlook for every American, and that's why we're starting today with Liberation Day.
Yeah, baby, let's freaking go. Let's go, man. It's like, tariffs aren't like exciting news. Oh, tariffs. But when you have tariffs on a scale like this, that have the ability to completely change the global economy, that's when it becomes super exciting. Okay, so that's just a taste. Now, the media elite, they told us tariffs would cripple our economy. Remember that? The same experts who shipped our manufacturing to China and Mexico, they promised economic apocalypse if we dared to fight back. Well, the numbers don't lie. 155,000 new jobs in March tell the real story. And as Representative Byron Donalds pointed out, the real economic pain has been the massive inflation from bloated overspending in Washington. Trump is fixing that by bringing industries back home. Even the polls show Americans get it. CBS News survey confirmed a majority now support tariffs. The globalist fantasy is collapsing, and America's economic sovereignty is rising from the ashes. So here's the question that has the elites trembling. If Trump's tariff strategy is already forcing global powers to surrender, what happens when it's fully implemented? Tell us what you think in the comments below. And don't miss our MAGA Avengers collection in the Next News merch shop. It is linked in the description. Whew. It's hard to make tariffs sound sexy. All right. But I think that night call. Okay, first off, we've got, let's see, Ryan in Canada. What's going on with Fort Knox? That's a question that I am dying to ask the White House. So stand by. We're going to try to get some answers from them. And then night call, dropping $5. I brought this up during the segment because it was I thought it was worth mentioning here. Saying, I would go as far to say the world's economy depends on the American consumer. Without us, they're toast. Yeah. I mean, the buying power of the American consumer is unmatched globally. And then we have this from Marine Sooner. Hippo character smacking his hands on his face, looking around to see if anyone saw what he just saw. $3.99. Thank you for that, Marine Sooner. Okay, we got some more news to jump into. So much happening. This is post-Liberation Day. Okay, so we've got the clips from the Rose Garden here. This is huge, 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 huge news today. Okay, let's rock and roll. My fellow Americans, what we witnessed today at the White House was nothing short of revolutionary. President Trump formally issued what he called a declaration of economic independence, and the world is reeling. Standing at the podium with hard hat in hand, Trump laid it out plainly. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. He held up a chart showing the massive tariffs other countries charge us versus what we will now charge them, and delivered the knockout line. They charge us, we charge them. It's so simple, yet no previous administration had the courage to enforce it until now. This is economic sovereignty reborn as you hear the waves crashing behind me in the Gulf of America. And as President Trump declares economic independence from global trade parasites, you can declare independence from pain. Canalidine is America's answered pain relief, 100% drug-free, developed right here in the USA. Just as Trump is ending our reliance on unfair foreign trade, Canalidine ends your reliance on dangerous foreign pharmaceuticals. By activating your body's natural painkillers called endorphins, it provides liberation from pain without side effects or addiction. True freedom, just like America's new economic freedom. Over 1 million Americans trust it, including professional athletes. So experience what economic and physical liberation feels like with Canalidine. Visit tricano.com/NNN for your risk-free 90-day trial. Okay, we've got more direct from the White House. The fake news is working hard to spin the American Liberation Day event. Trump's agenda will not be stopped. Check this out. Here's Tom McCulla, White House correspondent on the ground.
In the Rose Garden. Hey guys, Tom McCulla here with Next News Network. When I say this is crazy amount of press here, we've never seen this much press ever in however many years we've been around. Check it out. I'm gonna put it down. This is a terrible camera angle, but I just want to show you guys how massive this is for the entire world for Trump to make those announcements today and show everybody. And this is only the press that's outside. That doesn't include what's in the briefing room. That doesn't include the people that are still filtering in from the Rose Garden. We're expecting most of the cabinet to come out and do news interviews tonight. So we're just setting up ready for gaggles. And I've never seen this many people at the White House before. It's, again, it's an incredible amount of people. And it's all this energy. Trump's bringing America back. We're front and center. The world's talking about every move he does, every move we make, everything. It's so awesome to see this happen. God bless.
Wow.
Hey guys, Tom
I mean,
McCulla
think about this, okay? This is post Rose Garden. The entire global media has descended on the White House. That's how significant that this is. Okay? Now, I've been to the White House before. A number of times. I've never shocked all day long. Just trying to find a place to set up so he could present his reports for us. I mean, I'm sure like every single nation is there. Any nation that's going to get hit by a tariff, a reciprocal tariff, is there reporting. Trying to get answers. This is absolutely wild. And we've got this. Okay, so Secretary Besant. And before I show you this, here, check this out. Because I just saw this picture of... let's see, here is Brett Baer. There's Tom and Brett Baer. He caught a picture with him today. Oh, yeah. Val Kilmer. So sad. I'm your Huckleberry. There was a picture that was posted here. Where'd it go? I thought he posted it. Maybe it was a different account. Either way, let's just keep going. Here is Brett Baer. This is really important because this is Secretary Besant's message to the countries hit by reciprocal tariffs. If you retaliate, there will be escalation.
Market react. President in the Rose Garden. Let's get reaction to the president's tariff plan and progress of his big, beautiful bill going forward. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent joins us now. Thank you for being here.
Right, good to see you.
It was a big day. The president calls it Liberation Day. You know, we showed the markets before, but if you saw the post-market reaction, it was kind of down across the board. You know, people are looking at their 401ks, and they worry about it. What do you say to them tonight?
Brett, I say that what we are doing is we're setting the stage for long-term economic growth, that we were on our way to a financial crisis. You know, I used to teach a history of financial crises, and with that gigantic government spending, it was unsustainable. You look back in 1998, you look back in 2007, right before it looked great, everything collapsed. So, I mean, it looked great right before everything collapsed. So we have taken us off that trajectory, and we are putting ourselves back onto a sound trajectory.
You said 10% over 10 years would be $2.5 trillion coming in. You know, you look at this list of all these countries, and there's some policy decisions here. China is at 34%, added to the 20% already, so that's 54% on Chinese goods.
Yes.
Are they going to come back with something big?
Well, we'll see what they do. Is my advice to every country right now is do not retaliate, sit back, take it in, let's see how it goes, because if you retaliate, there will be escalation. If you don't retaliate, this is the high watermark.
So also not in the list, Russia, Belarus, but Ukraine is on the list. Mexico, Canada, not on the list, other than the fentanyl tariffs already there. There's a decision-making here.
Well, Russia and Belarus, we don't trade.
President in the Rose...
So, I mean, sum it up right there. Okay? If you retaliate, there will be escalation. If you don't retaliate, this is the high watermark. Very simple. The American consumer's buying power puts the rest of the world to shame. So just don't mess around. Okay? You want to F around, you're going to find out. Here's Congressman Greg Steube. When many fail to realize that Trump's reciprocal tariffs are long overdue response to years of unfair trade policies against America. For decades, America has been ripped off by other countries who have repeatedly slapped tariffs on our goods and blocked our products and flooded our markets with theirs. The numbers don't lie. The rest of the world has profited at the expense of American workers and business. President Trump is finally putting America first by taking bold, necessary action that past leaders wouldn't take. And these images, these were posted in the White House press room today. It goes into great detail about what types of tariffs charged to the U.S. and the U.S. discounted reciprocal tariffs. So, these are big, big moves by President Trump. Here's that picture. There's Tom and Brett Baer outside the White House. That was earlier today. Saw Brett Baer, accidentally called him the wrong name for a second. Very long day. We had a great laugh. Brett Baer. Okay, let's get into the moments in the Rose Garden. Here is the President of the United States. Listen.
Was going in sleepy Joe Biden's last year in office, the United States hemorrhaged 100,000 manufacturing jobs, and the number was going through the roof at levels never seen before. And our trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion, which is unheard of. Since the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made. It was a horror show. I was able to terminate it. They all said you'd never be able to get it out. We had to get approval from Congress to get it terminated. We had to live with that deal. It was the worst trade deal ever made by far. But since the very beginning of NAFTA, our country lost 90,000 factories. Think of what that is, 90,000. Think about putting a map up and putting tax on it. You wouldn't have enough room. 90,000. I said, is that possible? We had it checked 4 different times, and it was actually somewhat higher than that. And 5 million manufacturing jobs were lost while racking up trade deficits of $19 trillion. That was the worst trade deal ever made. As a result of these gigantic losses, foreign nations now own $26 trillion more of American assets than think of this, than the Americans own of their own foreign assets or other foreign assets. The United States can no longer produce enough antibiotics to treat our sick. We have a tremendous problem. We have to go to foreign countries to treat our sick. If anything ever happened from a war standpoint, we wouldn't be able to do it. We import virtually all of our computers, phones, televisions, and electronics. We used to dominate the field, and now we import it all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that. And it was a business that we used to dominate. We used to dominate it totally. In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. In Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe, right out the gate. Here is more from the president in the Rose Garden today.
Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. We're right now the biggest market in the world. We had a great country 4 years ago in terms of the economics. We were doubling up on China. We were doing so well. Nobody was going to catch us, but so much of it slipped away over the last 4 years under Biden. I campaigned on this policy throughout last year, and today that promise was made, and it was also a promise, as you know, that was kept. Promises made, promises kept.
Let's go. Here's the chart that he held up.
If you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charge anybody anything. But now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff. Taiwan, where they took all of our computer chips and semiconductors. We used to be the king, right? We were everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. We're going to end up with almost 40%. Lee Zeldin's working to get their approvals. And it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, of one of the great companies of the world, actually. They're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the biggest plants in the world, maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough. Great people. And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there, right behind the Resolute desk or whichever desk they chose. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%, and much higher for certain items like cars, little items like cars. 46%, we're charging them 24%. India, very, very tough, very, very tough. The Prime Minister just left. And he's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them almost nothing for years and years and decades. And it was only 7 years ago when I came in, we started with China charge them. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China in tariffs. And they understood, honestly. President Xi understood. He said, look, I understand. And the other countries, and they all understand. We're going to have to go through a little tough love, maybe, but they all understand. They're ripping us off, and they understood it. Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. He was a fantastic man. He was unfortunately taken from us, assassination. But I went to him and I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. A trade is not fair. He said, I know that. And he was a great gentleman. He was a fantastic man, but he understood immediately what I was talking about. I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. He said, I know that. And we worked out a deal, and it would have been a much better deal, but frankly, there were many years left on the deal that was made previous to my getting there, but it was something. If you look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%. Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia, 97%. We're going to bring it down to 49. They made a fortune with the United States of America. United Kingdom, 10%, and we'll go 10%. So we'll do the same thing. South Africa, 60%, 30%, and they've got some bad things going on in South Africa. We're paying them billions of dollars, and we cut the funding because a lot of bad things are happening in South Africa. The fake news ought to be looking at it. They don't want to report it. Brazil, 10%, 10%. Bangladesh is 74%. So you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%. Sri Lanka, 88%. So what we're doing is we're taking not the full, we could take the full 88%. Thanks a lot, Harold. He's doing a very good job. How's he doing?
Wow.
So,
do you guys follow this? He's actually being nice. He's like, yeah, Sri Lanka, 88%. We can give them the full tax, but we're not going to go all the way because it would completely crush them. Because they only need to go maybe half the way. Do you follow what's happening here? President Trump's being nice. Okay. Let's keep going. Here is President Trump announcing Liberation Day.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day, waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy. My fellow Americans.
It was also the day that the White House chose me to do the voiceover to announce Liberation Day on their official White House video. Yeah, go check my X account. You'll see it. It's absolutely amazing. Totally blew my mind today. Let's keep going. We got more. This is President Trump talking about why this is one of the most important days in American history.
This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence. For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. But now it's our turn to prosper, and in so doing, use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our taxes and pay down our national debt, and it'll all happen very quickly. With today's action, we are finally going to be able to make America great again, greater than ever before.
You know what pisses me off beyond belief right now? The fact that we've had these tools in our toolbox for so long. For so long. We've had these laws on the books that we could actually implement to restore American manufacturing, open up markets, force other nations to follow and open up their markets for us. But for administration after administration after administration, they all sold us the fuck out. They sold us out. They sold you out. Doesn't that piss you off? It pisses me off beyond belief. I don't like to drop F-bombs on my show, but sometimes you just gotta get the point across. Because it pisses me off to think just how long we have been screwed over by the Bushes, by the Clintons, by the Obamas. Oh my goodness, the Carters, even going back to the Reagans, the Nixons, when they opened up China. And finally, we have a president who is fixing it for you and for me. Oh man, I am so pissed. I am so pissed. But I'm so absolutely overjoyed. Oh man. Okay. Phew. Dude, I don't like dropping F-bombs, but sometimes you just gotta do it. Okay, here is Brian Payne Becker. Retired auto worker. 25-year UAW member. Let's listen to what he had to say in the Rose Garden with President Trump.
Thank you, Mr. President. I grew up just north of Detroit, Michigan, in Macomb County, known as the home of the Reagan Democrats. My first vote for president was for Ronald Reagan. I thought that was going to be the best president I ever saw in my lifetime until Donald J. Trump came along. I have watched my entire life, I have watched plant after plant after plant in Detroit and in the metro Detroit area close. There are now plants sitting idle. There are now plants that are underutilized. And Donald Trump's policies are going to bring product back into those underutilized plants. There's going to be new investment. There's going to be new plants built. And the UAW members, and I brought 20 of them with me, they're sitting right over here. We support Donald Trump's policies on tariffs 100%. So, Mr. President, we can't thank you enough. And in 6 months or a year, we're going to begin to see the benefits. I can't wait to see what's happening 3 or 4 years down the road. Thank you, Mr. President.
I mean, look at this. This is a union guy at the White House praising President Trump for this action. He knows exactly what's going to happen. All those plants are going to come back to life. The parking lots are going to be filled with employees' vehicles going in to manufacture new products made in America, shipping them all over the world. I mean, what happened during the last administration? Yeah, it was robbery. But that was just like the tip of the iceberg. for the theft that we have endured, because this has been going on for decades, generations even. Oh, man. Let's keep going. I'm so happy here. Here's more. Yeah, look, here's President Trump. For decades, the United States slashed our trade barriers. Here it is.
On our products and create. For decades, the United States slashed our trade barriers on other countries, while those nations placed massive tariffs on our products and created.
Who the hell was doing this? Who was writing these laws? Who was profiting off of this lunacy? Like, that's where we have to get to the bottom of. We have to investigate. We got to ask these questions. Who started this stuff? Who's the moron who thought this was a good idea to begin with? Slashing our trade barriers.
Outrageous non-monetary barriers. For decades, the United States slashed our trade barriers on other countries, while those nations placed massive tariffs on our products and created outrageous non-monetary barriers to decimate our industries. And in many cases, the non-monetary barriers were worse than the monetary ones. They manipulated their currencies, subsidized their exports, stole our intellectual property, imposed exorbitant VAT taxes to disadvantage our products, adopted unfair rules and technical standards, and created filthy pollution havens. They were absolutely filthy, but they always came to us and they said, we're violating, we should pay for it. It's all detailed in a very big report by the U.S. Trade Representative on foreign trade barriers, and I'll just hold it up for you. It's available, and you don't have to pay too much. As I understand it, you'll pay nothing. It's a lot of work for something, actually, because it's a special book. It's very, frankly, it's very upsetting when you read it, when you see what people have been doing to us for 30 years. This all happened with no response from the United States of America, none whatsoever. But those days are over. Let me offer just a few examples of the vicious attacks our workers have faced for so many years. The United States charges other countries only a 2.4 tariff on motorcycles. Meanwhile, Thailand and others are charging much higher prices, like 60%. India charges 70%. Vietnam charges 75%, and others are even higher than that. Likewise, until today, the United States has for decades charged a 2.5 tariff. Think of that, 2.5% on foreign-made automobiles. The European Union charges us more than 10% tariffs, and they have 20% VATs, much, much higher. India charges 70%, and perhaps worst of all are the non-monetary restrictions imposed by South Korea, Japan, and very many other nations. As a result of these colossal trade barriers, 81% of the cars in South Korea are made in South Korea. 94% of the cars in Japan are made in Japan. Toyota sells 1 million foreign-made automobiles into the United States, and General Motors sells almost none. Ford sells very little. None of our companies are allowed to go into other countries. And I say that, friend and foe. And in many cases, the friend is worse than the foe in terms of trade. But such horrendous imbalances have devastated our industrial base and put our national security at risk. For decades, the United...
I want to know who's behind it. Whose great idea was it? At least we have a great idea from a president who's fixing it all. Oh, this is probably one of my favorite moments of the entire day in the Rose Garden.
The wealthiest from 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think, Marco? Good problem? Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different story. They tried to bring back tariffs to save our country, but it was gone. It was gone. It was too late. Nothing could have been done. It took years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time. The ramp system, that's rather intricate, was built because of him, and every time you walk up, you think of him, and he did a great job in many ways, but it lasted long beyond his terms, as you know. But it's not too late any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable, but we're getting smart.
So much is going to change, folks. So much is going to change. The External Revenue Service is going to go to full effect. We're going to get rid of the income tax and the IRS. It's going to be the greatest time in American history. The golden age is truly here. So, Trump dropped a history lesson today, and it left the media completely stunned. From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, the wealthiest we've ever been. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they gave us the income tax. Let that sink in. We traded national prosperity for IRS confiscation and globalist control. But today that system crumbles. Retired UAW worker Brian Painbacker put it perfectly. I watched plant after plant close in Detroit. President Trump's policies are going to bring product back to those plants. From farmers facing 300% Canadian dairy tariffs to ranchers blocked by Australian beef bans, Trump is finally defending the American producer. This is more than policy. It's economic rebirth. So here's my question. Will historians mark April 2nd, 2025 as the day America reclaimed its economic destiny? Who needs historians when you and me are writing history, right? Sound off below and make sure you grab your exclusive Next News gear from our merch shop. Support the network. Link down below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Wow, what an amazing, amazing day today. Okay, we got some more to get into today. Just a second. Okay. Todd, I'm going to send you a message in just a second here. Okay. This is too funny. Take it with a grain of salt. But there it is, the message. On instructions to deal with that thing. There you go. All right, see what you can do. All right, let's see. Any more super chats to speak of yet? I don't... Whoa, what the heck? What are you guys doing today? Holy cow. What? R. Boyd. Wait, what? Marine... Okay, R. Boyd gifting 5 memberships today. Holy cow. Thank you, R. Boyd. We've also got Tom Before 20 gifting 5 memberships today. Aaron Worley gifting 5 memberships as well. Holy cow. Night Call dropping $5. Wait, is that new? They've been doing it for decades. Subjugation of the American people. Happy Liberation Day. Thank you. Okay, I'm starting to see. Okay, Marine Sooner, also 99-cent hamburger. Okay. Alice Cersei, 1999. Hooray for today, April 2nd, 2025. Let freedom ring. And Vet Oif 03, $10. Hey, Gary, it's great to see Next News grow from what I saw 10 years ago to now as White House press. Evan from Oregon on Rumble. Thank you. Oh, Brian, you crazy bastard. All right, I wasn't expecting that. All right, Todd, hit me up. You think that's going to work? I don't know. You see, so because that song was in that track, we got to secure the rights before we upload it, XYZ, and then we got to say, hey, we got the license, da da da. Okay. Oh, you did? How much is it? Is it a royalty-free license, or what is it? Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I mean, we just basically need to have the rights to it, and then we just send them the license when we dispute the claim. Okay, let's rock and roll. Patriots, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, just detonated a truth bomb that has Washington insiders running for cover. Working with President Trump and Elon Musk, this citizen-led task force is vaporizing government waste, exposing corruption, and dragging fraud right into the light. It's not just about cutting costs, it's about accountability. Meanwhile, the mainstream media is having full meltdowns as they try to dismiss these findings. Martha McCulla had to lecture Senator Chris Cruz, who tried plugging his ears saying blah, 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 when confronted with DOGE's evidence. Tesla protesters can't even name a single thing DOGE has done wrong, yet they're screaming conspiracy while staring at a website showing all the receipts. It's not just politics, it's the swamp being drained in real time. Just as DOGE is exposing government waste, we're exposing what's wasting your testosterone. While Elon's team uncovers inefficiencies in federal agencies, our team discovered one specific food destroying men's testosterone, and something most health experts recommend. This revelation is as shocking as DOGE's government findings. Like hidden bureaucratic waste, this testosterone killer operates in plain sight. When men eliminate it, they experience dramatic improvements, building muscle and burning fat faster than before. It's about time someone exposed this truth. You want the transparency that DOGE brings to government and Sculpt Nation brings to men's health? Visit sculptnation.com/NNN. It's linked down below. Okay, so something totally wild happened at the White House today, and Tom McCulla was on the scene. Because I'm like, hey man, find out what's going on with DOGE. Right? I know we got this Liberation Day thing going on, but find out what's going on with DOGE. He's like, hey Gary, check this out. He's like, there was a DOGE guy here. And like, he was in and out. It was like a ghost. Okay? So we got the clip. Tom was there, and he's like, I saw him walk in. He hit the media row, and then he left. He didn't even do a gaggle. He didn't step up to the microphone. Didn't like engage with any of the independent press. So here's the moment. Antonio Garcia, DOGE volunteer, stormed the White House and axed waste and left like a patriot on a mission. Check this out.
Tom McCulla reporting. Hey guys, this is Tom McCulla reporting directly from the White House with the Next News Network. And folks, we got a big show today. Stories that matter straight from the source. So we're diving into what's really happening here in Washington. No spin, just the facts. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we're opening with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. This is the team that's been slicing through Washington's bloated mess like a hot knife through butter. And today we've got something special. Antonio Garcia, a volunteer with DOGE, came in for an interview. And this guy, he's an absolute machine. He walked in, he did the job, and he left to tackle his next task, just like DOGE itself. No fluff, no waste. We snagged some footage of him in action posted by the White House's Rapid Response Team on X, and we're going to go ahead and check that out.
That's a jaw-dropping number. Where did all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop, too, when I saw it. We were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse. And to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America. And we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came to the country as illegals, were giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and then got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, so they get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls, and that many of them had voted.
So now, speaking of DOGE, let's talk about Elon Musk. You know him, the genius behind Tesla, SpaceX, and now the guy steering DOGE to victory. But hold on, there's a story going around claiming there's some big drama saying that President Trump's inner circle is pushing Elon out early. And the story? They say Trump's happy with Musk's work, but Elon's about to step back in a few weeks to focus on his business. They even tossed in some gossip about the administration insiders calling him an unpredictable political ally and all that nonsense. They're pointing to a judge in Wisconsin losing an election. Some guy Musk backed as proof Elon's a problem. They say he's been a loose cannon posting wild stuff on X, throwing cabinet secretaries into a panic. The claim is that Trump and Musk decided it's time for him to take a supporting role, maybe stick around as an informal advisor. And they're acting like this is a big shift from a month ago when everyone thought Musk was locked in for the long haul. I mean, that's all they talk about. They say Musk is a dictator. It's just outrageous. So there's a kicker to this. They say this lines up with Musk's 130-day gig as a special government employee ending in late May or early June. Some say he's done all he can without cutting too deep. And then others, they're whining that he's too hard to control. Sounds like the usual elitist tantrum when somebody actually gets stuff done, doesn't it? That's all they cry, but they only care about their money. So, but here comes the truth to smack that down. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stepped up and called this scoop garbage. And she said loud and clear on X that Elon Musk and President Trump have both been upfront about this from the start. Elon's leaving when his work at DOGE is done, not because of some shady backroom deal, but because that's the plan. In his special and government employee status, it's temporary by design. It always has been. Once he's finished slashing the fat, and trust me, he's doing an incredible job, he's leaving, just like he said he would do. And Caroline confirmed it again today. The report is flat out wrong. Musk's not bailing early. He's finishing strong. This isn't a retreat. It's a victory lap. And let's be real, Trump and Musk, they're a powerhouse duo. Trump's leading with guts, Musk's swinging the axe at waste, and DOGE is proving government can actually work for the people. Imagine that. No, they hate it because they can't stand seeing winners who don't play their game. It's the whole thing. It's all fake news. Think about it. Elon saved billions. Some say 115 billion. Others say 250 billion by chopping useless programs. Antonio Garcia is just one example of the no-nonsense crew making it happen. And the media? They're scrambling to spin this into a scandal because they're terrified of a White House that delivers. Trump's got the numbers, and Musk's got the results. That's why we're here, giving you the straight story. So there you have it, folks. DOGE is rolling in. Musk is rocking. The rumors are flailing. And again, this is Tom McCulla signing off from the White House. Thank you.
Yeah, baby.
Hey, guys, this is Tom McCulla.
Tom McCulla kicking ass. Oh, and speaking of kicking ass, here is the Education Secretary. Okay, Linda McMahon. Crashing a Democrat press conference outside of the Department of Education. All right? This is great. Watch this.
Perhaps I should.
And the reason I bring this up is because all the downsizing that's happening right now in the federal government, DOGE is helping with that effort. And Linda McMahon was appointed to literally downsize and get rid of the Department of Education. So Democrats are out in front of the Department of Education, screaming and crying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're going to get rid of the Department of Education." And boom, who shows up? Linda McMahon. I mean, listen, this woman, I mean, she's been around wrestling fighters and scripted, theatrics in that world for years. So I think she can handle a little Democrat press conference, right? Watch this.
Without a plan and without an effort along a corporate model without a plan and without an effort to really protect our students. So we want to be clear about that. I want to say one other thing, the mood in the room, it was very collegial. We are extraordinarily grateful to the Secretary that she joined us. Thank you. She's here. Perhaps I should give her the podium. We're extraordinarily grateful that the Secretary gave us the space to have these conversations. But with all due respect, Madam, I think my biggest concern is that the states will not be able to protect the programs and services that you would like to devolve with them.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. And I just want to express my gratitude to all of these folks who came today so that we could have an open discussion about what I believe is one of the most important things that we can have a discussion on or action on in our country, and that is the education of our young people. As Representative Tanaka said as we were ending the meeting, which I thought was incredibly appropriate, and that is that this is not a partisan issue. This is about the children of America, and it's the next generation, the generation after that. And if we want to have our leaders, if we want to have that next group of engineers and doctors and lawyers and plumbers and electricians and HVAC operators, then we need to focus on how they can best have their education. And I believe, and I know the President does believe this as well, the best education is that is closest to the child, where teachers and parents, local superintendents working together and local school boards to develop the curriculum for those students is the best way that it can happen.
Along a corporate model.
Right there, confronting them in the middle of their press conference. It's absolutely solid gold. And speaking of solid gold, let's take a look at what Elon Musk said, that they know who is paying for and organizing the violence against Tesla, and says they will be arrested.
Horrible. I mean, really, this is fundamentally a case of terrorism. It's wide-scale domestic terrorism with the purpose of intimidation, and it's harming innocent people. It's really terrible. And I think what we actually have to get to are the people who are organizing and paying for these attacks and protests. That's who we really need to go after, because the people who are actually throwing the Molotov cocktails, they are the foot soldiers. Right. But we need to go after the generals, and we're going to do so. The President has made it very clear that we're going to go after those that are paying and organizing these violent attacks. And Attorney General Bondi has said the same thing. I believe that is exactly what will happen.
Do you know who they are?
We're coming for them.
Do you know who those generals are?
We know. We do.
Yes. And hopefully the prosecution will be for RICO and an organized criminal enterprise, which makes the penalties even more serious.
Wow. RICO charges. They know who's behind it. I mean, listen, they're already following the money from USAID. It's not going to be that difficult to track out who is actually paying for this. Soros, right? Let's keep going. What is this guy? Thank you, Sweet Ebb. Here are some people thanking Elon and DOGE. Thanks, Elon. Everyone out there in the streets thanking Elon Musk for what he's doing by cleaning up all of the waste in government. Yeah, stand with DOGE. Stand with Elon. I guarantee you these people are not paid to be out there. Okay, like the Soros people. Oh, speaking of Soros people, here's a Tesla protester who can't name a single thing she doesn't like about what DOGE has done.
The Trump administration. I think throwing a Molotov cocktail at a Tesla, burning the battery, hurts the environment. I don't think that has done that much damage to the environment compared to what the Trump administration is doing to the environment. That is minuscule. What do you think is the worst thing Elon Musk and his DOGE team has done so far? We don't really know what they've done in there, so I think that that's very dangerous. That they're, using their technological, all the technical stuff that they're doing, computerized with computers and with the agencies. I think throwing a Molotov cocktail at a Tesla, burning the battery, hurts the environment. I don't think that has done that much damage to the environment compared to what the Trump administration is doing to the environment. That is minuscule.
What is the Trump administration doing to the environment? They can't point to anything. He's not doing anything wrong. Okay, here's more. Who knew Senator Jim Banks was so funny? I was a worker at HHS. I was fired.
Especially people with this. I was a worker at HHS. I was fired illegally on February 14th. There are many people who are not getting social service programs, especially people with disabilities. Are you going to do anything to stop what's happening?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it.
Dude,
wow.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Why did I deserve it?
Because you seem like a clown.
Okay, sir, you shouldn't have said that. I was a worker at HHS. I was fired illegally on February 14th. There are many people who are not getting
that was solid gold.
Programs, especially people with disabilities. Are you going to do anything to stop what's happening?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it? I deserved it. Wow.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Why did I deserve it?
Because you seem like a clown.
Okay, sir, you shouldn't have said that.
Oh, no, he should have said it on camera because we can all look at how much you are a clown. Dude, that was solid gold. Oh, and let's see. Here is more from Jim Banks.
The Democrats and the left-wing media have lost their minds because I told a left-wing activist in the halls of the Senate office buildings yesterday what I really thought. A clown is a clown who's chasing senators through the halls with a cell phone, complaining about losing a left-wing woke job in the federal government that should have never been a job to begin with. I won't back down. I won't apologize for it. I support President Trump and the DOGE effort 100% to cut wasteful spending and woke jobs out of the federal government, and we're just getting started. The Democrats
Just
and the left-wing media
getting
have
started.
lost their minds because.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, let's go. Here's Martha McCallum. Oh no, really? Chris Coons? Is he putting his fingers in his ears? Oh my goodness. Wow.
But the Trump.
Were you as shocked as I was when you heard some of those numbers, some of that information about how much fraud is happening in Social Security, Senator?
So, Martha, not only do I not believe some of what was just shared there, but the Trump administration's acting administrator of Social Security has said that less than 0.1% of the payments put out by the Social Security Administration are fraudulent or in error. Let's be clear about some of the things that were just played. There are people whose names are on the rolls as having been born 150 or 200 years ago. They're not receiving Social Security payments. So the statement that there's all these people, Martha, I'm just repeating back to you what the Trump administration, acting Social Security administrator, has said about the percentage of fraud in Social Security.
So let me ask you
Part
this.
of why I'm alarmed about Elon Musk and DOGE, and they're getting into the systems and they're getting the access to the individual information of millions of Americans, is that Elon Musk has made it clear he thinks Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is itself fraudulent, fake, criminal, or illegal. I don't think Social Security is a Ponzi scheme.
Well, let me ask you
I think
something.
70 million Americans depend on it for their principal
but
source
gee,
of
that's
income.
too bad because
so
in 10
letting
years,
DOGE
let me
into
ask you a
Social
question,
Security
Senator. Let me ask
to
you a question.
tear it up,
You've made a lot
like
of points.
they have
Let me ask you
destroyed
something.
other agencies,
Sir.
I think is immoral.
So you sound like you're pretty okay with all the agencies and how they function. So you say all those millions of people depend on Social Security, so you don't care about the ones that are going to never get it because it's going to be insolvent in 10 years. What have Democrats done? What did Joe Biden's administration do to find the waste, fraud, and abuse in Social Security to try to shore up this important agency? What did they do? Can you tell me?
Sure. So first, Martha, you are presuming widespread waste, fraud, and abuse in Social Security. You haven't offered any credible evidence to support that. I don't believe what DOGE says about virtually any federal agency. But I will believe what the GAO says, or the Inspector General, or the Administrator of Social Security. Because I've had senior folks from DOGE lie to my face about other federal agencies where they claim they have found widespread waste, fraud, and abuse, where previous audits did not find that waste, fraud, and abuse. And this administration, Martha, fired the Inspector General of USAID when he filed complaints about the waste of huge amounts of
So let
food
me
aid
ask you something.
left rotting on docks.
Let me ask you
Rather
something.
than dealing with that fraud, they fired him.
I'm amazed by, so you're saying that I'm assuming that there's waste, fraud, and abuse. And I think it's equally surprising that you are assuming that the government is functioning in an efficient way when we all know.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Well, then what has
Martha, there are inspector generals in every single agency that are there to find waste, fraud, and abuse.
They've done a fantastic bang-up job. I mean, when you look at the number...
And to start the administration by firing all of them does not suggest a deep interest in listening to these career, nonpartisan
I don't know why
inspectors
you don't want to hear
general
it.
about waste.
No, you can't just put your fingers in your ear and go, blah, blah, blah. It's not happening. We all know
that's not at all
that
what
the
I'm doing,
government
Martha.
is not
Let me repeat the point.
Run. And
that
these
if
people...
Elon Musk says that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, and this president has fired the relevant inspectors general, who are the people most capable, not a bunch of 20-year-old software engineers with no previous government experience.
People, did you watch
because
this interview,
they are
Senator?
trained,
Did you watch the interview?
independent,
Did you watch
competent
this?
accountants.
Did you watch the interview?
Which interview? I don't know what you're talking
the
about.
one I just
You're
played
yelling
you from.
so much.
No, I can't, because I can't get a word in edgewise. I'm trying to ask you a question. That's my job. So
you go right ahead.
There was an excellent panel on Special Report. These are not 25-year-old, whatever people have been calling them. They're very seasoned executives who have made a lot of money and run good businesses efficiently, where they only use the number of people to get the job done that they needed. They gave up their livelihood and they left their families and they came to Washington to try to give their expertise to some of these agencies that are so sclerotic and wasteful that they are not able to function. So, okay, it would be great if, if both sides of this, because when I remember there being an active interest by Democrats in saying, you know what, we know that there's a lot of waste in our government. Now you're telling me there isn't.
That's not at all what I said. I said in Social Security, the current Trump administration acting Social Security administrator has said publicly less than 1/10% of the Social Security payments are being improvident, are not being sent to people who are entitled to them.
Let's assume that you are 100%
I
right.
agree with you that there is waste and fraud in different federal programs, and sign me up for working in a measured, bipartisan, thoughtful way about reducing. I mean, there are in Medicare,
well, you should talk to the people on the...
I mean, spare me the bipartisan way. Give me a break, dude.
Panel here, because I think
this is the same guy who said that Joe Biden was sharp as a tack, and then immediately afterwards said, "Oh yeah, maybe he wasn't." This guy is just a bold-faced liar.
Impressed with many of them. I would ask you respectfully to take a look at this panel discussion because I found it very eye-opening. It's not a bunch of nutty 25-year-olds, as you suggested. They're actually quite thoughtful, intelligent people who have a great record of it. So let me ask you: were you as shocked as I was when you heard?
What a jerk! Oh, looks like we got something from Mr. Reagan. Elon Chip Musk on DOGE fraud. Exclusive interview with Bret Baier. What the heck?
Thing. You've heard of Elon Musk, but have you heard of Elon Chip Musk?
Mr. Reagan.
For you, what's the most astonishing thing you've found out in this process?
The sheer amount of waste and fraud in the government. It is astonishing. It's mind-blowing. We routinely encounter wastes of $1 billion or more, casually. For example, the simple survey, literally 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey cost you about $10,000. The government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just the survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey, do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what would be done with that survey. So the survey would just go into nothing. It was insane.
Mr. Reagan.
Oh, Mr. Reagan, dude. Oh, my goodness. Okay, here is Elon Musk talking about the fake charity NGOs, which are overwhelmingly run by Democrats, running a massive money laundering scheme.
You said the other day you uncovered some evidence that there was massive Social Security fraud and that arrests were imminent.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that? And what can you tell us about what you've seen politicians do to make massive amounts of money off of the federal government, like Nancy Pelosi? Please.
Yes. So we've encountered, there's really so much for it. It's deciding what should be prosecuted first, because it's such a long list. You have to actually prioritize the list. We convey the list to the Department of Justice. The DOJ has a process that they go through to review and think about it. The wheels of justice turn slowly. In fact, obviously, I have a maniacal sense of urgency. So to me, when I see that terrible fraud has happened, I'm like, why haven't we arrested someone already? But as the saying goes, the wheels of justice turn slowly but surely. And I think probably the person that stole 400,000 Social Security numbers, at least, maybe more, will be arrested hopefully this week. With respect to the non-governmental organizations, these sort of fake NGOs, I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because these are fake charities where mostly Democrats, almost, well, I don't want to be clear, there's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there, because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, hey, be quiet about this. So that's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on. But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme.
Wow.
Really, at this point, I think the word NGO and money laundering are almost synonymous.
You said the other day.
Unbelievable. But this is what we need to have happen. Here's Valor CEO and DOGE volunteer. We just played that, actually. That was what Tom just presented. Okay, so check this out. Wall Street Apes posted this. Democrats say DOGE employees are unqualified. Send them this video. This is Luke Ferrator, a 23-year-old kid from Nebraska, working with Elon Musk and DOGE to cut wasteful spending. Last year, he was awarded $700,000 for deciphering an ancient scroll using AI.
But Peter Thiel. This is Luke Farrader, a 23-year-old kid from Nebraska working with Elon Musk and DOGE to cut wasteful government spending. And last year, he was awarded $700,000 for deciphering an ancient scroll using AI. The scroll was damaged during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, and Luke, with a few classmates, used 3D scans and machine learning to virtually uncrumple the scroll and decipher it. This not only caught the attention of the AI community, but Peter Thiel, who awarded Luke $100,000 to become a Thiel Fellow, where young entrepreneurs are encouraged to pursue their passion like the Ethereum founder and Figma founder. But Luke's now been recruited to work at DOGE, where the team's been sleeping in the office, crunching code, and working around the clock to identify waste, fraud, and abuse. And DOGE has been under fire for their young age, with people saying they're not qualified. However, Elon seems to disagree, saying we need young guys with a fresh perspective to bring down the machine. And if this kid's smart enough to decipher ancient scrolls with AI, he might be able to crack the government spending problem. What do you think? This is Luke Farrader.
Absolutely, man. Let's keep going. There's so much in the DOGE world to get into. Let's see here. Look fear in the eye.
That you're afraid of. I think it's always good when thinking about something that you're afraid of. When thinking about fear, look fear straight in the eye, and it will disappear.
Okay. All right.
The nature of fear is that people don't look at it.
Yeah.
Look at it directly, and it will be gone.
Yeah, he's right. Because fear only exists when you are afraid of it. And if you don't show it any fear, it disappears. So look it dead in its eye and destroy it. And that's exactly what Elon Musk is doing with DOGE. They're looking at the evil inside of our government and destroying it with just one look. So the critics called DOGE a joke, a meme, a publicity stunt. They're not laughing now. When Elon Musk brought in a 23-year-old Nebraska kid named Luke, who deciphered an ancient scroll using AI and won $700,000 for his innovation, the bureaucrats sneered. Now they're terrified as this new generation of talent tears through decades of purposeful government opacity. Senator Jim Banks summed it up perfectly. When a fired bureaucrat complained, you probably deserve it because you seem like a clown. No apologies, no backing down, just truth. Jesse Waters confirming that Musk has exposed fake charity NGOs as a massive Democrat money laundering machine. The fraud is methodical. The corruption is systemic. The exposure is just beginning. So here's my question. If DOGE found this much waste and fraud in just months, what else will they uncover by year's end? Leave your predictions below and check out our MAG Avengers gear in the Next News merch shop. It is linked down below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Man, I'm getting bit. Something out here biting me. It's those no-see-ums. No-see-ums. I'm coming at ya. Okay. We got some more news to jump into. Okay. What is biting me out here? Okay, I think we got a bunch of stuff happening over here. Okay, I saw Curio 23 bring back Latin in schools. And we have a new member, Ryan, just joining up. What's up, Ryan? Welcome to the family. Great to have you here. And trying to figure out what's going on with this. Play that one next. Yes, we did. Thank you, Todd. Yeah. Well, we need to find a way to secure the rights for it before we publish it. Maybe there's another website. If you keep looking. Okay. Okay. America, what we're witnessing right now is nothing short of a hostile takeover attempt by the judicial branch. Former Speaker Newt Gingrich just pulled back the curtain on the left's latest weapon against President Trump, nationwide injunctions issued by partisan judges. This is a judicial coup d'etat. That's what he warned, as these unelected lawyers behave like 677 alternative presidents, each with the power to override the will of 73 million voters with the stroke of a pen. Now, the statistics don't lie. 92% of judges issuing these sweeping injunctions were appointed by Democrats. That's not coincidence. That's coordination. As a House Judiciary GOP put it, the notion that unelected lawyers can micromanage the executive branch should trouble every American. It's not just obstruction, it's sedition in robes, and we have all the details. So, while activist judges try to subvert our constitutional system, Chuck Norris has discovered how to defend your body against a judicial coup of aging. At 84, Chuck still maintains the strength to fight against time's injunctions. Like those 92% of activist judges issuing nationwide blocks, 3 specific biological factors are issuing aging orders against your body. But Chuck's constitutional defense system for your health overrules them all. His method works so effectively, both he and his wife feel decades younger. So don't let your body's systems be overwritten by age. Watch Chuck's breakthrough video and reclaim your vitality at chuckdefense.com/next. And we are proud to be sponsored by Chuck Norris. All right, let's get into it here. Mark Wayne Mullen dropping some bombs right out the gate. Last time I checked, the Constitution doesn't give district court judges the power to legislate from the bench.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you real quick about the injunctions going on with the courts. You would think that there would be some agreement between the courts and the president on what he's doing, especially when it comes to illegal aliens and the crimes they're committing. I think the American people spoke very loud that they wanted law and order back on our streets. And so when the president tries to deport a plane full of illegal aliens that are gang members to El Salvador, you would think the judge would support that, right? You would think that considering he's a judge, he puts bad guys away, that we'd want to get these illegals that are bad guys out of our country. But no, the hatred towards President Trump even has the courts not being truthful with the American people. They simply hate everything that the president is doing. Let me talk to you about real numbers. So my liberal friends that are watching this, argue with this. Underneath the Obama administration in 8 years, the court only put in 12 injunctions. Underneath President Trump, his first term, in 4 years, they put up 64 injunctions. Biden, who was completely absent-minded, wasn't even running the country, which could arguably be the largest cover-up we've ever had in political history, the judges on these DC courts and the district courts around the country only put up 14 injunctions in 4 years. Now, the president has been sworn in since January 20th. How many injunctions do you think the court's already installed? 15. Do you think there's some bias going on? Absolutely. That's why Speaker Johnson in the House and Leader Thune in the Senate is leading the charge to start holding these courts accountable. They are simply there to interpret the law and the Constitution, not weigh in from the bench because of their political bias towards President Trump. It has gone too far, and it's time for these courts and these judges to be held accountable.
Oh, and they will be. Let's take a look at what Representative Mark Harris had to say. Nationwide injunctions allow activist judges to act like dictators. Congress must rein in judicial overreach.
Quote would be inappropriate. Speaker Gingrich, you've referred to this trend we're discussing today as a, quote, emerging dictatorship of district court judges, end quote. And you posted on X that the No Rogue Rulings Act, quote, would be an appropriate first response to the district judges who are trying to be mini presidents totally beyond their constitutional authority. I totally agree with you, Speaker Gingrich, and the No Rogue Rulings Act would be an impactful first step in addressing this problem. I was proud to vote in favor of it when this committee marked it up, and I later joined on as a co-sponsor and look forward to, at some point, having the opportunity to vote on the House floor. But Speaker Gingrich, specifically, do you believe there are any additional legislative steps that need to be taken to address the problem of activist judges acting beyond their constitutional authority as you described in your post?
Well, I would just say for the moment that this issue of district judges becoming alternative presidents and issuing nationwide injunctions is such a central point to where we are, that solving this, first of all, if we can successfully limit the district judges, we will have sent such a strong signal of rebalancing the Constitution that I think it will sober up everybody in the judicial side. In the future, there are some key issues. The whole notion of whether judicial supremacy means supreme inside Article 3 or supreme over Article 1 and 2, I think is an issue worth taking up. But I would put that a very distant second to solving this immediate problem, because if you solve the immediate problem, you both make it possible for the executive branch to be effective, and you've sent a pretty powerful rebuke to the judicial branch that they can't overreach in what they're doing. So I would make it a sequence in that sense.
And that's what's happening. These judges do not have the constitutional power to override how the executive branch executes the law. I mean, this, if you want to talk constitutional crisis, this is the constitutional crisis. All right? They said Donald Trump was going to be a threat to democracy. He's going to destroy our country. No. It's the activist judges legislating from the bench, blocking the executive power, interfering in the separation of powers. Holy cow, man. Let's keep going here. Here's where Gingrich calls it, slams the partisan judges abusing nationwide injunctions as a judicial coup d'etat.
I'm told that 92% of the judges who've issued blanket injunctions against the administration have been appointed by Democrats. That at least suggests a rather partisan tilt to all this, and it's not being done even-handedly. What's your view of that? Doesn't that undermine public confidence in our courts?
Well, I think if you look at the recent reports from various polling firms, clearly a majority of Americans believe that no single district judge should be allowed to issue a nationwide injunction. And I think that when you look, my judgment as a historian, this is clearly a judicial coup d'etat. You don't have this many different judges issuing this many different nationwide injunctions, all of them coming from the same political ideological background, and just assume it's all random efforts at justice. This is a clear effort to stop the scale of change that President Trump represents. And I agree, a lot of this stuff can be fought out. Some of it should be fought out in the Congress, but it shouldn't be micromanaging the executive branch on national security issues by random single judges who have no standing, they have no particular knowledge, they haven't been in the room, they don't know what the consequences of what they're doing are, and they put both Americans and the nation at risk when they intervene to become basically alternative presidents. You now have potentially 677 alternative presidents, none of whom won an election.
I'm told
Wow.
that 92.
I mean, that's profound in its own right. Holy cow. Let's keep going. There's more. Federal judges. Wait a second. What's this? Ted Cruz? What is Ted Cruz saying? Watch as I blast the activist judges who are attempting to derail the Trump administration. Check this out.
It's long been said that hypocrisy is the tribute that vice pays to virtue. I have to admit, I'm enjoying listening to my Democrat colleagues suddenly discover the virtues of the rule of law. After 4 years where they brazenly supported the most lawless Department of Justice and the most politically weaponized Department of Justice our nation has ever seen. We just heard the senator from Rhode Island talk about the imperative of protecting judges. And yet not a single Democrat senator cared about the violent protesters that showed up outside Supreme Court justices' homes, including, I might note, female justices like Justice Amy Coney Barrett, threatening their family, and Joe Biden's attorney general didn't do a damn thing and refused to enforce the law to protect those judges. Why? Because he agreed with the violent protesters and he wanted to intimidate and threaten those judges. Professor Bray, under our Constitution, who should decide elections, the voters or unelected judges?
The voters are the ones who should vote in the election according to the laws, and the laws sometimes have to be applied by the judges if there are cases.
And under our Constitution, who is charged with making policy decisions? Elected representatives elected by the people or unelected federal judges?
I think the question of policy, Senator, is a little broader than the particular case. So the laws should be enacted by Congress. That's where the fountain of law.
Policy decisions are the elected branch.
Right.
Law is the province of the court. Policy is the province of the elected branches. These are not complicated. Professor Bray, let me ask you this. Do the federal courts have power to issue remedies for people who are not parties to a case?
That's a question I agree is not complicated. They do not have that power.
Is the phrase nationwide injunction or universal injunction found anywhere in the Constitution?
It is not.
First charge. In the first 150 years of our republic, how many nationwide injunctions were issued?
My view is that there were not any until 1963.
0. Now fast forward. How many nationwide injunctions were issued in the entire 20th century?
It's a small number. I would think it would be a dozen, give or take. It's not large.
27, actually. Excluding Trump's first term, how many nationwide injunctions were issued in the last 20 years?
Far more than that.
32. From 2001 to 2024 against Biden, Obama, and Bush, 32. And how many nationwide injunctions have been issued in the last 2 months alone?
There have been quite a few.
37. Let that sink in. There have been more nationwide injunctions in the past 2 months against President Trump than in the entire 20th century. There have been more nationwide injunctions against President Trump in the last 2 months than both terms of George W. Bush, both terms of Barack Obama, and Joe Biden's term. We saw during the Biden presidency lawfare, indicting President Trump 4 times, using the machinery of justice to attack him, and that was an attack on democracy, because Democrats today hate democracy. Democrats today are angry at the voters for re-electing Donald Trump and electing a Republican Senate and a Republican House, and they engaged in lawfare to stop democracy from operating. Understand, this is the second phase of lawfare, second chart. This is the second phase of lawfare. Now that their efforts to indict President Trump and stop the voters from re-electing him have failed, they're going and seeking out individual radical judges to try to shut down policies, and they are forum shopping like crazy. Give me any loon judge put on the bench by Obama or Biden who disagrees with a policy. We just saw a judge flagrantly ignore U.S. immigration law concerning TPS being revoked. U.S. law explicitly said there's no judicial review for that, but hey, they found a judge who says, you know what? We, the Democrat Party, we are the party of illegal aliens. We are the party of murderers and rapists and gang members, and the Democrat Party exists here to fight to keep murderers and rapists and gang members in your communities. There's a reason the Democrat Party is at 26% approval nationwide, because they put radical policies ahead of rule of law. Nationwide injunctions are an abuse of power. It is the judiciary acting as policy deciders, and it is incumbent on this committee and this body to rein in the abuse of power from these unelected radical judges who are trying to overturn the election because they disagree with what the voters decided.
Damn, dude. Ted Cruz just wrecking shop. Holy cow, man. Here's Wall Street apes. My God, look at all this stuff. Federal judges not supposed to be ordering universal injunctions. The DOJ has even been trying to stop this for years. Oh, Senator Kennedy. Love this guy.
The statutory. A universal injunction is what we call an order from a court enjoining the government in a way that goes beyond the parties to the case, but applies nationwide or in some cases universally to enjoin the government. Is it sometimes referred to as a nationwide injunction? Yes, it is, Senator. What's the statutory basis for a federal judge issuing an order that affects people other than the parties before the court? I'm not aware of a statutory basis, Senator. There is no statutory basis, is there? No, Senator. What's the United States Supreme Court opinion which interprets the Constitution in a way that allows a federal district court judge to do this? Can you name me that case? I'm not aware of one, Senator. There isn't one, is there? I'm not aware of one, Senator. Explain to me how this works. How can a federal judge issue an order that affects everybody else other than those in front of him or her? How is that possible? It shouldn't be possible, Senator, but district courts do it all the time. I think on the theory that the courts need to enjoin a federal policy from going into effect, and they often will enjoin it as nationwide, so all non-parties are protected by that injunction. I thought that if you wanted to affect parties who aren't in court, you had to file a class action. That's correct, Senator. So why don't the federal judges, instead of issuing a universal injunction with no legal basis, tell the plaintiff, look, you got to go file a class action if you want to impact parties who aren't subject to my court? Senator, the Department of Justice makes that argument all the time in our briefs. I think in many cases class actions would be inappropriate. They wouldn't. The plaintiffs couldn't satisfy Rule 23 to establish a class. So they couldn't? Correct. So they prefer to ask for a universal injunction? Yes. Does this encourage forum shopping? Yes, Senator. Not only does it encourage forum shopping, but also district shopping and filing multiple strategic lawsuits to find one judge that will enjoin a single policy nationwide. If you have 5 lawsuits, a plaintiff, only one of those 5 cases needs to be successful. Okay, we've established that there's no basis in statute and no basis in Supreme Court precedent for a universal injunction. How about a common law? I mean, universal injunction is basically an equitable remedy. Did this exist in common law courts in England on which our law is based? I don't believe so, Senator. I think the government has cited cases from the Supreme Court that says, courts are really bound by the scope of relief that a court in equity would have granted back in England before the founding, and the courts at that time would grant relief to the parties in the case, not far beyond the. A universal injunction as a remedy is unknown in English common law, is it not? I haven't done the research that far back, but I'm not aware. I have. It's unknown. Wasn't part of equity. Only about 27 universal injunctions were issued
in the 20th century. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right, Senator.
But 86 of them were issued against President Trump in his first term. Is that correct?
I don't know the specific number, but they were a high number.
And so far in President Trump's second term, 30 universal injunctions have been issued against him, have they not?
Senator, I don't have a specific number, but that sounds about right.
The universal injunction has become a weapon against the Trump administration, has it not?
Yes.
And tell me again in my last 10 seconds, tell me the basis for universal injunction in Article 3. I read Article 3, which defines judicial power. Where does it mention universal injunction?
It does not, Senator. It says courts are to decide the case or controversy before them, which is based on the parties to the case.
So the Congress could act and say, look, federal judges, you render a decision to a plaintiff or a defendant, but you can't impact people outside of your courtroom other than through a class action. That's why God created class actions, isn't it?
Yes, Senator. Senator, a universal injunction is what we call...
Dude, Kennedy just deconstructed the entire weapon that they're trying to use against Donald Trump. Okay, the class action is designed just for that specific purpose, but they bypass it, they go around it by using this universal injunction. Because they couldn't get a class action. It wouldn't hold up. So they just jump to this thing that has no actual basis in statute or even common law. Just wait. What's going to happen next? All this stuff's going to get challenged. It's going to go right up to the Supreme Court, and they're never going to be able to use this as a weapon against Trump again. Because why? Because no weapon formed against him shall prosper. We have seen it for the entire duration of Donald Trump's political career, even all the way up to and in the moment in Butler, Pennsylvania. So, Senator Ted Cruz didn't mince words. Nationwide injunctions are an abuse of power. The judiciary is acting as policy decision makers. So think about it. How can a single judge in Hawaii or San Francisco issue an order affecting the entire country? As one testified, there is clearly a potential constitutional crisis involving the judicial branch's effort to override both the legislative and executive branches. And who's funding this judicial rebellion? Follow the money. The Soros network has been pumping cash into judicial campaigns across America, building an unelected power structure that can nullify your vote without facing a single ballot. It's not about justice, it's about control. So I'll leave you with this question for the comment section. When unelected judges try to rule America instead of elected representatives, isn't it time for Congress to limit their power? Let us know your thoughts and check out our MAG Avengers collection in the Next News merch shop. It's linked down below. Grab a hat, grab a shirt, and show the world you stand with the real news. Okay, where are we at here? Tom B420 dropping $5. What's up, Tom B? Thank you for that. Let's see what is happening here in the main feed. Let's see here. Sorry, let's get this. I'm going to shut down X for a second and restart it. There we go. Okay. Let's see how we do this here. I think I'm chewing on bugs that are flying into my mouth. Ugh. There's no seams, man, I tell you. Okay, Vivek Ramaswamy, 32 seconds ago, met a veteran tonight who served for 20 years in the Army, now drives veterans to their healthcare appointments, a tradition that goes back to Henry Knox and Nathaniel Greene, veterans helping each other long after they serve. How cool is that, man? Wow, he just published that like literally 32 seconds ago. Let's see, we've got more. What the hell is this? The FBI should raid every hard drive in that room. Typical Democrat hypocrisy, claiming reason, common sense. MAGA knows the truth. What is this? Oh, wow. I don't even want to look at it anymore. Wayfarer's response to Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss. Don't even know what that's about. Clear skies and tailwinds, Val. Yeah, Val Kilmer. We lost him. Big news around Elon Musk and his DOGE crew might have uncovered something wild, stolen social security data. We covered that yesterday. Marco Polo, this has been effectuated. Hunter Biden has lost his D.C. bar license. Connecticut should and likely will be next. So it's over for Hunter Biden losing his law license. Should have happened a long time ago. Lots of people interested in paying down the national debt by making life more expensive for working Americans. And don't you dare even mention the programs that drive it through the roof. Okay, listen, I'm getting eaten alive out here. Raisin Nest dropping $5 just a moment ago. $5 from Raisin Nest. Thank you so much. We're at $86.88 and it's 17 new members. I do have to shut this stream down because I've got to get back into the studio production room, post-production, post-show, and do some more work. That's how it is. But here we are. The sun has set over the Gulf of America. But what we witnessed today isn't just news. It's history unfolding before our eyes. Liberation Day, April 2nd, 2025, will be remembered as the moment America broke free from decades of globalist chains and bureaucratic paralysis. I want to thank all of you for joining us, whether watching on YouTube, Rumble, or X. From my family vacation spot here on the beautiful Gulf of America, we've brought you the most important stories in America. And a special thanks to Tom McCulla out in D.C., right outside the White House, bringing us those powerful shots of history in the making. Tom, outstanding work today, my friend. And we started, of course, with President Trump's economic breakthrough, $5 trillion in investment and trade commitments pouring into America. Small businesses that struggled under Biden-Harris are already seeing daylight. The Trump economy isn't just back, it's roaring. Then we exposed the global tariff revolution as foreign powers folding like cheap suits. Mexico surrendered, Canada begging for mercy. So-called experts who predicted economic disaster are nowhere to be found as job numbers surged past expectations. America is finally charging other nations for access to our markets, and they're paying up without a fight. We showed you Trump's declaration of economic independence the moment he held up that chart, exposing the massive tariffs other countries charge us versus what we now charge them. They'll charge us, we charge them, simple, fair, and long overdue. And of course, the DOGE exposure operation revealed the massive waste, fraud, and corruption embedded in our bloated federal bureaucracy. Musk and his team of citizen engineers, they're tearing through decades of intentional government opacity, exposing money laundering schemes disguised as NGOs. And finally, we uncovered the judicial coup attempt where unelected judges are trying to override both the president and Congress through nationwide injunctions. 92% of these obstructionist judges, Democrat appointees. It's not a coincidence. It's coordination. But none of this coverage would be possible without your support. The algorithms are against us. The establishment wants us silenced, yet we persist because patriots like you keep us going. So if you value our unfiltered reporting, please consider supporting our work with a donation. The links are in the description. And don't forget to visit our merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, where you can get exclusive Next News swag to show off your favorite news source. A special thank you to everyone who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants tonight. Your support and engagement make the show what it is. $98.88. Look at this. It's all coming in right now. You guys are awesome. Look at this. Raisin S dropping $5. Tony dropping $2. Stan dropping $10. Good night. Good night. You guys are awesome. Almost hitting $100 tonight. 17 new members. Folks, this is the Raw Feed. We'll be back tomorrow with more explosive revelations the mainstream media won't touch. Tom is still in D.C. He's outside the White House. He'll be there all day tomorrow. We're going to get the real scoop directly from the seat of power. So make sure you're following us on all platforms to get the news as it happens. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.